I was on like a Netflix show for glassblowing. Really? And they had to like mic us up and everything, but we would like sweat our mic packs off, and they would have to like wrap them in condoms so that they didn't get too like wet from us sweating. And we'd be like blowing glass, and they'd be like, "We need to fix your mic," and you're like, "Not right now. Like, I'm very busy."
The camera.
So my name is Gemma Hollister. I'm a glass blower in Philadelphia. I grew up in Bucks County, but I majored in glass at Temple University, and I've lived here for about 7 years now. I have always been a maker, and I've always been creative and also entrepreneurial. When I was a kid, my brother and I would like make soap, and I would have a little soap making factory in our garage and sell them at markets. My dad had told me that if any of his kids were allowed to drop out of school, it was me. When I was applying to school for college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And the last day that the application for the Tyler School of Art was open, I had an art teacher who was like, "You should apply to go to this school." And so I toured it, and I saw the hot shop. I was like, I have to take a class. I have to try this. I mean, just the magic of seeing hot glass spinning is pretty fun. Like the gathering of the glass out of the furnace. And when I first started blowing glass, I noticed everyone sucked at it, including me, but I sucked a little bit less than everyone else, which made me think like, okay, I could be good at this. And then I stuck with it. I was applying to every single opportunity. I was applying to every scholarship, every class, working for people for free. And there's jobs now that I was doing then that I would never do because they're, either no money or really tough conditions. But at the time, it was just about building skill. But as soon as I was able to, the very first glass class that I was able to take outside of school, I took a class in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is where I met Tate. And that moment was where I actually met real, like, living, working professional glass blowers who weren't in an institution, in a school, or like with this idea that maybe there'd be a job out there blowing glass somehow. And so that, I think, really, really committed me into doing glass. When I graduated from the Tyler School of Art, I was awarded the Wingate Lamar Fellowship, which is essentially like a $15,000 grant. And so in meeting Tate and us pooling our resources together and getting that grant, we were able to start our own studio. And we would literally start by just making hundreds of pumpkins and selling them in the suburbs to just like ladies in the suburbs. And we would just put more of that money into the studio. And it's been about 3 years now. So it was kind of a lot of luck and a lot of grinding. We sort of base our products off of this similar method of working really fast. And you saw when I was making the Antonlini, I like reheated it a bunch. You never see me reheat this piece because we work fast enough that we don't let it cool down. So making something in the hot shop usually starts with melting glass cullet. And then we have to bring our furnace up to 1,000 degrees. We have to make sure that the glass is melted and clear and free of bubbles. And then we gather the glass on a blowpipe, blow it, and shape it into the piece, which can take as short as 1.5 minutes, or the piece can take 9 hours. Once we put those pieces in the annealer, they have to sit for at least 16 hours to come to room temperature, and then they're finished. I think the thing that draws a lot of people to glass blowing is the challenge of it and how difficult it is. But also, I think to me, as I started to improve at blowing glass, I kind of had this realization of being in control, whereas we can't control so many other things that are going on in our lives, in the world. Like, I realized that the more I learned about this material, the more control I had over it. And that felt somewhat meditative to me. Responsibility for outcomes and like being able to control them. So I think that that's my biggest draw to the material. Tate and I together, we have a production business, And the idea is that we make our production work and then we have time to make our artwork. I mean, the biggest challenge is money, I feel like, in staying true to what we want to do, but it's always just like, well, if I spend a couple more hours making products and sending emails and doing these things, then I'll have more money and I'll be more stable. And it's really hard to commit that time to making our own artwork. But I do see the silver lining in all the production work that we're doing is that we're still building skills in the medium that we're passionate about. We're becoming better glass blowers and learning more about the medium. Okay, off. You want to grab that punty and warm it up? I'm actually kind of digging the chords, so they look kind of cool. Okay. It really is about attitude for me through and through. I feel like I've gotten a lot of opportunities to pursue my passion because of my attitude, not necessarily because of my skill. And I think that people who are passionate about things see that in other people. And I think it can kind of get you a really long way. Like, be fully obsessed and committed to whatever it is that you're passionate about, but also be interested in other things, have other outlets. You know, I run, I dance, I study languages, but glassblowing is not my hobby. It is like my consuming thing. You know, I've maybe gotten like 1 or 2 bad burns, but not really very many burns. Okay, I'll flash and then we'll do the spout. If you're being true to what it is that you want to make in your own pure expression, at the end of the day, that's what's gonna define you as an artist. And like, if you're not leaning into that, people can read through it and then no one's happy. Like, you're not keeping yourself alive and passionate, you're not keeping your medium alive and breathing, and also like, who's gonna be interested in that? So that's something I've been thinking of to no conclusive point as of this morning. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sweet. I passed. Yay. I'll send Tate in. That was fun.
Test is over.
Yay. Tate!